how to make them miss you badly. That shift in focus changes everything. It magnetizes your presence without you even trying. Imagine living in a world where your happiness isn't tied to the affection you receive from others, where the longing, glances, missed calls, and thinking of you. Messages do not define your emotional state. This is not a tale from ancient history, but a reality that you can experience today. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that has endured the test of time, teaches us exactly that. It empowers us to find inner peace and happiness, regardless of our external circumstances. But how does this relate to wanting someone to miss you? In the realm of love and relationships, we often crave the attention and affection of others, believing that external validation is the key to our happiness. Yet Stoicism introduces a counterintuitive approach by focusing on self-improvement, fostering emotional independence, and appreciating the present moment without attachment. We inadvertently become more attractive and, ironically, more likely to be overlooked. Today's video delves into the Stoic approach to living and loving. By embracing the principles of Stoicism, we can enrich our lives and transform our relationships in the most unexpected ways. Stay with me as we explore how to make them miss you, not by playing games or strategizing your every move, but by becoming a beacon of self-sufficiency and contentment. As always, your support means the world too. Thus, a simple yet impactful way to help is by hitting that subscribe button. It's a small gesture that goes a long way. Please stay with us throughout the entire video, as every part has been carefully crafted to guide you toward a more fulfilling and stoic way of living. It is incredibly easy to fall into the trap of seeking external validation in our quest for happiness and fulfillment. We often measure our worth by the reactions, opinions, and attention we receive from others, especially in personal relationships. But what if I told you there's a more empowering, enduring path to happiness? The Stoic path teaches us to focus on what's within our control, our thoughts, actions, and reactions, while accepting what we cannot control, which includes the feelings and behaviors of others. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent or emotionless. Rather, it is about recognizing that true contentment and self-worth come from within, not from someone else's approval or attention. Consider this. When we base our happiness on being missed or desired by someone, we relinquish our power and become overly reactive to their actions or lack thereof, which can lead to a roller coaster of emotions. Stoicism, however, offers us the tools to step off this ride by cultivating virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. We build a strong, resilient character that finds joy in self-growth and personal achievements. This doesn't mean we should isolate ourselves or stop caring about others. Stoicism doesn't advocate for emotional detachment, but for emotional resilience. It encourages us to form healthy, meaningful relationships based on mutual respect and understanding, not on neediness or dependency. Moreover, by prioritizing self-improvement, we naturally become more intriguing and attractive to others. People are drawn to individuals who are confident, passionate about their pursuits, and content with themselves. So, ironically, the less we focus on making someone miss us, the more likely it is to happen because we're living our best, most authentic lives. So let's start shifting our focus from seeking validation to nurturing our inner world. Let's invest time in learning new skills, exploring new hobbies, and deepening our understanding of who we are and what we stand for. This journey of self-improvement is not only fulfilling in itself, but also makes us more admirable and, yes, admirable in the eyes of others. Remember, the goal of Stoicism is not to suppress our desires or deny our need for connections, but to remind us that our happiness and worth are not dependent on them. By anchoring ourselves in the principles of Stoicism, we can enjoy a life of peace, satisfaction, and true independence. So let's adopt the Stoic approach, focusing on self-improvement and finding joy within ourselves, because that's where true happiness resides. At the heart of Stoicism is the understanding that our reactions to external events are within our control, even if the events themselves are not. This principle is incredibly empowering. It means that we hold the key to our emotional state, granting us a liberating level of independence. According to Stoicism, emotional resilience isn't about numbing ourselves to feelings or detaching from the world around us. Instead, it is about acknowledging our emotions, understanding them, and deciding not to let them dictate our actions. The Stoics emphasize the importance of focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. This isn't just a strategy for personal peace. It is a roadmap to emotional resilience. When we stop allowing external factors, like the actions of others or societal pressures, to influence our well-being, we cultivate a profound and practical sense of independence. This independence doesn't mean isolation. On the contrary, it empowers us to engage with the world from a position of strength and confidence. Consider the concept of emotional resilience in the context of relationships. Stoicism teaches us that, while we can love and care for others, our happiness shouldn't hinge on their presence or approval. This perspective encourages us to build relationships based on mutual respect and genuine connection rather than dependency or fear of loneliness. We can enjoy deep, meaningful relationships without losing ourselves in them by fostering emotional resilience. Furthermore, Stoicism's emphasis on living in harmony with nature and accepting the ebb and flow of life enhances our emotional resilience. It reminds us that change is the only constant and that our ability to adapt to this change is a measure of our strength. This adaptability doesn't come from a place of passivity, but from active engagement with our values, goals, and the pursuit of virtue. So, how do we cultivate this independence and emotional resilience? It begins with self-awareness, which involves regularly reflecting on our thoughts, emotions, and responses to life's challenges. It consists of practicing gratitude, focusing on the present moment, and engaging in activities that align with our core values. Crucially, it requires us to challenge our perceptions, asking ourselves whether our emotional responses are based on current realities or outdated beliefs. In Embracing Stoicism, we learn to navigate life's storms not by seeking shelter in others, but by becoming our lighthouse. This journey toward independence and emotional resilience is not a solitary one. It is enriched by the wisdom of those who walked this path before us. As we incorporate Stoic principles into our lives, we find that our capacity for joy, our strength in adversity, and our ability to maintain balanced relationships all grow exponentially. The Stoic philosophers, such as Seneca, the brilliant Roman statesman, Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, and Epictetus, the formerly enslaved person who became a Stoic teacher, often spoke about the importance of living a life in alignment with one's nature and the nature of the universe. At its core, this involves recognizing what truly matters in life and dedicating ourselves to it. For the Stoics, meaning is found not in external successes or the accumulation of wealth and accolades, but in cultivating virtue, wisdom, and integrity. It is about contributing to the common good, engaging with the community, and developing relationships founded on respect and understanding. Creating a meaningful life, then, involves a deep dive into our inner selves, asking hard questions about who we are and what we stand for. It requires us to identify and live by our values, even when faced with challenges or when it would be easier to conform to societal expectations. Stoicism offers a compass, This introspection urges us to consider not just our actions, but the intentions behind them. Are we acting out of virtue, or are we motivated by a desire for external validation? Moreover, Stoicism teaches us about the impermanence of external conditions and the importance of focusing on what remains within our control. This perspective is liberating. It frees us from the tyranny of trying to control the uncontrollable and directs our energies toward where we can genuinely make a difference: our attitudes, choices, and responses to the world around us. In this way, creating a meaningful life is less about what we achieve and more about how we live and the mindset with which we approach our days. Embracing a Stoic approach to life also means accepting that suffering and setbacks are natural parts of the human experience. Instead of perceiving them as obstacles to our happiness, we can view them as opportunities for growth, resilience, and a deeper understanding of life's complexities. This doesn't mean we seek out suffering, but rather that we find meaning in overcoming it, learning from it, and moving forward with a strengthened spirit and a more compassionate heart. In practice, creating a meaningful life involves both small daily acts and grand gestures. It is found in the kindness we show to others, the integrity with which we conduct our work, and the passion we bring to our pursuits. It is in the moments we take to reflect on our place in the universe, appreciate nature, engage in self-care, and foster connections with others. These acts, grounded in Stoic principles, weave together to form a tapestry of a life well lived. Let's remember that the Stoic journey toward a meaningful life is not a solitary endeavor, but a path we walk together, supporting one another through shared wisdom and experiences. By anchoring our lives in Stoicism, we equip ourselves with the tools, not just to face life's challenges and thrive amidst them, finding joy, purpose, and meaning in every step of the journey. The Stoics recognized early on that much of our frustration, anxiety, and even despair stems from our insistence on controlling the uncontrollable. We often expend tremendous energy trying to shape circumstances, outcomes, and even other people to our will, only to find that much of it is beyond our reach. This realization isn't meant to dishearten us. Instead, it is intended to free us from self-imposed chains that bind us to unattainable expectations. Embracing Stoicism's guidance on relinquishing the desire for control doesn't mean we become passive observers of our own lives. Rather, it is about focusing our efforts on the arena where we can indeed make a difference, our internal world. We hold genuine sway in the realm of our perceptions, decisions, and reactions that we hold genuine sway. Here we can cultivate virtues such as patience, understanding, and resilience and find peace. According to Stoic philosophy, letting go of control involves deeply accepting the natural flow of events. It is about understanding the difference between our efforts and their outcomes, recognizing that while we can strive to influence the former, the latter often falls outside our direct influence. This doesn't negate the value of effort, it merely places it in a healthier perspective. When we align our actions with our values and detach from specific outcomes, we engage with life more wholly and authentically. Moreover, this Stoic teaching encourages us to view each moment as an opportunity to practice acceptance and to grow in wisdom. It invites us to question our deep-seated beliefs about control, success, and security. In doing so, we often discover that our true strength lies not in exerting control over the external world, but in mastering our inner landscape. In practical terms, letting go of the desire for control means embracing flexibility and adaptability. It means being open to the unexpected, finding the courage to face uncertainties with a calm mind and an open heart. It is about learning to respond to life's challenges gracefully, viewing them as opportunities for personal growth and self-discovery. As we incorporate this Stoic principle into our lives, we find that our relationships deepen, our stress levels decrease, and our appreciation for the present moment increases. We begin to understand that control is not the key to happiness. Balance, acceptance, and inner harmony are, as taught by Stoicism. Letting go of our desire for Stoicism is not about relinquishing our power, but rather about reclaiming it in its most potent form. It is a journey towards inner freedom, marked by a profound transformation in how we perceive and interact with the world. As we embark on this journey, we discover a life defined not by external validation and control, but by internal validation, peace, resilience, and a profound, enduring sense of purpose. As we conclude our exploration of Stoicism and its profound teachings, it is clear that this ancient philosophy offers more than just a set of principles. It presents a way of living deeply rooted in wisdom, resilience, and inner peace. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what truly matters, guiding us through life's ebb and flow with grace and composure. The exercises and practices we've discussed are not just abstract concepts, but practical tools that can be woven into the fabric of our daily lives, transforming challenges into opportunities for growth and more profound under Stoicism. In embracing Stoicism, we're not just learning to detach from the outcomes that are beyond our control. We're also learning to cherish and fully engage with the present moment, to appreciate the beauty and simplicity, and to foster connections that are rich in meaning and virtue. It is about cultivating an inner sanctuary of peace that remains steadfast no matter what storms may rage outside. This journey towards Stoic living doesn't promise a life free from trouble or pain. Instead, it promises something far more valuable: the strength to face adversity with courage, the wisdom to choose actions aligned with virtue, and the serenity to accept what we cannot change. It teaches us that while we may not have control over the external world, we have the power to control our perceptions, decisions, and reactions. As we incorporate Stoic principles into our lives, we find that our perspective on happiness, success, and fulfillment begins to shift. We discover that true contentment comes not from external accolades or possessions, but from living in accordance with our deepest values and virtues. The key to a life of profound meaning and joy lies in this discovery. Thank you for joining me on this journey at Stoic Journal, where ancient wisdom meets modern living. Let's continue to explore and grow together. For more insights, I invite you to watch one of the suggested videos on the screen. Until next time, remember that the journey inward is the most significant journey of all. Imagine someone who walks away from a conversation without needing to be remembered, but who is still unforgettable. Not because they said something dramatic or displayed charm, but because their presence is rooted, authentic, and complete in itself. This is what the Stoics meant by quiet confidence. It makes people miss you, not for what you did, but for who you are. The modern world teaches us to seek attention, while the Stoics teach us to cultivate presence. Your energy shifts when you stop trying to be missed and focus on becoming whole. Your energy shifts. You carry yourself differently. You radiate a calm completeness. Paradoxically, that is when others feel your absence the most. When we pursue someone too desperately, we lose the very energy that makes us attractive to others. Stoicism teaches us to relinquish control and focus our attention inward. Concentrate on becoming someone whose worth is not up for debate. When others see your independence, your discipline, and your inner joy, they can't help but remember you. Every moment spent in self-reflection is a moment of becoming more magnetic. Not because you're practicing a tactic, but because you're growing. You are aligning with who you truly are. This kind of growth creates echoes, leaving a space that only your presence can fill. That is how you make them miss you. not by retreating but by rising. Ultimately, being missed is never just about absence. It's about the impression you leave. The impression is created by living well, loving deeply, and letting go of what you cannot control. This is the Stoic blueprint. Be so grounded in your essence that when you are not around, your energy continues to linger in the minds and hearts of those you've touched when you are not around. Think of the individuals in your life who left a lasting impression. Chances are it wasn't their constant presence or loud words that made them unforgettable. It was their steadiness, focus, and self-respect. This is the silent art of being missed, being so deeply aligned with your purpose that others remember how they felt in your presence. Seneca once wrote that true happiness is not found in seeking more, but in desiring less. When you stop needing someone's attention to validate you, you become liberated, and that freedom is powerfully attractive. People are drawn to those who do not beg for their place, but who quietly earn it by living with intention and depth. The Stoics teach us to retreat into ourselves, not as an escape, but as a way to become fuller, firmer, and more whole. When you grow in silence, people feel it. When you evolve in private, your return speaks volumes. You do not need to be seen constantly to be remembered permanently. Letting go of the desire to control others' perceptions of you is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. You no longer chase admiration, you inspire it. This transformation does not happen overnight, but each step you take inward is a step others will one day wish they had walked with you. So the next time you wonder if someone misses you, ask instead, am I living in such a way that my presence brings peace, clarity, and inspiration? That is what the Stoics would urge. Live as if the world is watching not your image, but your integrity. That is the path to being not only missed, but remembered.